Hello and welcome to another episode of WTF is AuDHD with late diagnosed sisters Ellie and Paige. We were diagnosed late.
And we're here to educate.
Yes, we sure are. In the best way that we can. And no, we're not doctors.
Educate from our experience because we're not doctors.
Yeah, so if this is your first time listening to an episode, you've just found this one. We're Ellie and Paige. We're late diagnosed AuDHDers and we share our life experience with these conditions, neurotypes, whatever you want to call them. And everything we talk about is predominantly just from our experience, our life experience, what we've been through, with a little sprinkle of our own research. But we always encourage you to go off and take concepts we may have talked about and elaborate on them yourself.
And when we say research, obviously we're not taking out our own studies. We mean like just, using Google and shit.
Yeah, just go and dig a little deeper because there's probably factors in your life that we don't know about. Like there's trauma to think about. There's all sorts of other factors that only you know about.
Yes, it's all relative to you.
Exactly.
But we're just here to bring it awareness. Sorry.
That's fine. Keep going.
No,
you're just making it a big deal.
Sorry, I just interrupted you twice. I was just aiming to it saying, yeah, but just bringing awareness for you then to go and do your own digging.
Exactly right. Now today we've had a few people.
Sorry.
If you want to join our community, we've got a private Reddit community on Reddit, obviously, and you can click our link tree in our Instagram at WTF is AuDHD podcast and come join, hang out, and have a bit of fun.
But it is a bit of a two-pronged process, isn't it, Ellie?
Yep. No, you got to mention the two-prong. What's the two-prong?
So the two-prong is that you have to enter into the Reddit, and then once you're accepted by us, then you have to accept it. What? Is
click
that
join,
right?
yeah.
You have to click join. So it's a bit of a two-pronged. Sorry, I just crack up because you say that every time.
It's such a fun word to say.
Oh, you say double-pronged?
No, two-pronged.
Two-pronged.
Two-pronged
process. Sorry to do that to our AuDHDers,
which
is quite classic, really.
Quite ironic, really.
Yeah.
On today's episode, we've had a few people ask to do this and chat about this, and we're going to be talking about PDA. And no, I don't mean public display of affection.
You silly buggers.
Silly buggers. No, we mean pathological demand avoidance is what it was commonly known as. Now, it's actually a profile within autism. So it's actually kind of its own diagnosis within the autism spectrum. We're just going to disclose that Paige and I have never been screened for this properly by a psychiatrist or psychologist. So therefore, we haven't actually been officially diagnosed with it. But we have done a lot of research and based on our childhood, I do wonder whether there was a bit of that going on.
Our poor mother and father.
Yeah, I don't know
really.
how they dealt with it.
Mostly mum because dad was working, mum was at home with us.
Yeah, sorry about that,
Sorry about that, mum.
So you've got PDA, which is pathological demand avoidance, but there's actually other names for it that people have they've renamed it essentially and tried to change the acronym because pathological demand avoidance makes it sound a bit like you're being a little shit. Yeah, pathological and you're weird and you're doing...
And you're just being devoid. Oh.
Devoid?
Defiant. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just for fun, but it's not that.
No, it's not that. So the other the other names you can call it is Pervasive Drive for Autonomy.
Yes, I like that one better.
I like that one way better. I think that actually sums it up
well. And we should be treating our children as much as we can, because I know you can't just fully let them go do what they want, but as much as you can within the means, like letting them have their autonomy and treating them like an adult.
Exactly right. So I prefer that word, those words, or you can call it rational demand avoidance. That's just it's called RDA, someone trying to just change the word to from pathological to rational.
So can I just say, just in case people take it out of context, I don't mean treat them like an adult. I mean give them the respect like you would another adult.
Yeah, exactly. It's such an important thing. I honestly, I think I've said this before on this podcast. If you give me, if you believe in me and you just trust me, I'll do the best job at whatever it is. But as soon as I'm micromanaged or feel like I'm being demanded to do things, I really struggle with that. And it's not because I'm just being like, oh, I don't want to do that. It's not that. It's actually a visceral reaction. And we'll get into it soon.
Yeah.
But that's basically what it is. We're going to call it, we'll still just call it PDA, but I think I quite like Pervasive Drive for Autonomy because that's actually what it is for me.
Yeah.
I'm not necessarily avoiding demands. I'm avoiding people trying to take away my autonomy.
Yes, yeah.
That's actually what it is.
Yeah. It just appears like you're being defined, but it's a tricky one because if you don't know, you don't know, and you just think, I was very much like that as a kid.
Yeah.
And I guess we all just thought I was just for fun being a little shit.
Yeah, but you're not.
No.
So basically, pathological demand avoidance is a profile of autism. Mm-hmm. And it's actually not in the DSM-5 either. This is the thing though. The DSM-5 is so old.
Oh, it's not in there?
No. The DSM-5 is so old and out of date. It's actually not in there. It's been kind of a new term, I think, where people are starting to realize what it is. but it's recognised in the UK as a distinct presentation within autism. So it is recognised. It's just not in the DSM-5, but that's because that was published in like 2013, which is so long ago now.
Yeah.
It's marked by extreme avoidance of everyday demands and expectations, driven not by defiance or opposition, but by anxiety and a need for control.
Yeah, a need for control. I'm just like,
that's it. It's not about being a little share, but you internalize it and you feel like you are.
Especially when then you get really told off, which it's understandable because as a stressed out parent, I'm sure it's very stressful dealing with a child that's not doing what you say 100%. Like, I can't even imagine how stressful that could be.
Yeah.
But therefore the effect is that like I don't know, you feel,
Yeah, no, exactly.
It's such a tricky one.
It is a tricky one. We asked our Reddit, I'm going to jump into our Reddit now just quickly because we asked our Reddit if they experience PDA. We've had a couple of people reply. So pathological demand avoidance for me is like trying to push a cat into a bathtub, even if the cat scheduled the bath and bought lavender scented bubble soap. I can want to do something, even need to do it, and still feel my whole nervous system hit the brakes like I've just been asked to jump out of a moving train. It's not defiance or laziness. It's this knee-jerk full-body panic that kicks in even with self-imposed expectations, especially with those, honestly. So this person basically saying demands put on themselves are even worse.
Yeah.
The more pressure I feel, the more my brain fights back. And it's wild how sneaky that avoidance can be.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly, I'm organizing my sock drawer instead of responding to a text I desperately want to answer or work on the hobby, staring at me across the room unfinished.
Oh my God, yes. Could it be even as small as that? Because I do that.
I definitely do that. And I think this is where the ADHD thing comes in too. So that we'll talk about this, the difference between ADHD and PDA, because they kind of, they look similar. Like I definitely avoid tasks due to another task having more dopamine.
Yes,
so it can be that as well, but they're talking about this in the PDA context. Learning about PDA didn't just give me a name for this. It gave me permission to stop moralizing it. Such a good way to put it. And when they say moralizing it, the whole time they've been berating themselves for being lazy and just, blah, blah, blah. They've said, I could stop calling myself broken or flaky. It's helping me find softer ways to show up for myself, even if it's one tiny, rebellious, avoidant baby step at a time. Great comment. Thank you so much for being so open about it, because I totally know what you mean. We get told that we are defiant and we're like naughty and little shit, but it's actually not. We're not actually doing it on purpose. If we could control it, we would. It's actually uncontrollable. It's a nervous system reaction, which I'll get into shortly. Another person said, oh my gosh, I so relate to this. I was always labeled stubborn as a child. As soon as someone asked me to do something, I immediately get my back up and don't want to do it, even if I did want to do it prior. All my working life, I've struggled in workplaces where I had micromanagers, but at the time I didn't know what was wrong with me. Late diagnosed at 48, only 3 months ago, so I still have so much to figure out. And then someone else's comment, this is great. We want comments like this because they're a good discussion point. Someone else commented, said, this is one of the symptoms I really don't get. I'd love it if you girls explain exactly what it is. From what I've seen, it's often portrayed online as, I was going to do it, but now you asked me and I don't want to do it, which seems very immature and selfish and not a practical way to live life. We cannot go around refusing to take simple directions or refusing to do something because someone checks in with a reminder. Totally valid comment if that's what you've seen about it, for sure. Someone's actually just replied saying PDA is less about being stubborn and refusing to do something because someone told you, and more about having anxiety and being overwhelmed by a task or activity, even if it's something you love. I really love swimming, but the anxiety I have over actually going to a public swimming pool, who's going to be there, how much will it cost, how am I going to travel there, where will I put my things, what do people stare at me, what parking,
does it cost?
Yeah, the texture of the chlorine and a wet swimming costume has made me avoid it now at all costs. It's more like your brain builds an obstacle course and it's very hard to get through it to the end. Sometimes the anxiety wins and I have to stay home. Sometimes I can get through if I have a patient friend or a loved one who can support me through the process and eliminate blocks or steps to make the process easier. It's unfair to label it as immature or as simple as being stubborn. I'm constantly defensive and sensitive about being seen as lazy or combative, as I fear that's how people see me. But it's so much deeper than that. It's a genuine struggle to overcome something in your mind that you have no control over. So yeah, great reply to that. And also for the first commenter, like, it's a valid thought, because this is the problem, is that there's all this stuff online that's very surface level and it does look that way. And I know that Paige and I have in the past said we get asked to do the dishes, but we were already going to do it and now we don't want to do it because someone asked us. As I've done more research, I actually think what we've described there has been more our ADHD.
I was going to say that it's more about thinking that you're going to get the dopamine from not doing the dishes, but getting the reward after doing the dishes, which is mum being in a good mood with you and mum thanking you and go, thanks, Paigey, that's really kind of you.
Good initiative. And
getting like that little that little, oh yeah, I am the man. And then once you tell me, that completely derails that reward.
Yeah, the reward's completely gone.
Yeah.
So I think last time we've spoken about this, possibly what we were describing in that context wasn't quite PDA. That was more the dopamine being taken away. So this is why ADHD and PDA can actually look similar too, which we'll get into shortly. But thank you to those who replied about PDA. We'll go through a couple of traits of PDA so you can sort of see if you may relate to it or whether it's something that you've seen. Intense resistance to everyday demands. Even simple requests can trigger pushback or shutdown. And for me, it's shutdown, actually. It's like sometimes if I even need to do something that I'm not being told to do, I just know I need to do it. One, dopamine's not there, so that's the ADHD at play. I think this is why AuDHD is so complex because they're similar. But then the PDA is my nervous system needs the control. It's like, I don't want to do that today. That's not what was in my plan. If something randomly comes up, like I hate a knock at the door. Like I don't want anyone coming over, you know.
Oh my God, same.
Yeah, so I will ignore that out of protest almost, but not on purpose though. Like I'm actually viscerally anxious and stressed about it, and it's like avoiding a phone call that I get, avoiding replying to messages that I get.
Yeah, I avoid phone calls and I avoid knocking on the door unless I know I'm expecting a visitor.
Yeah.
I will, Ellie and I on the weekends, like the door knockers come round. It sounds so mean, like so bad, but like I'm like the one time, like your weekend and I'm in my own home and now you're knocking on my door. No, I'm not going to answer the door.
Yeah, that really
sorry, especially on your weekend. It's like,
no,
anyway,
totally.
sorry, it was a bit of a tangent. But yeah, I do the same thing.
No, totally. Need for control, especially over yourself or others. Surface sociability, masking deeper difficulties. That means like they may come across as outgoing, but have deep social anxiety or unpredictability. I'm definitely like that. Sudden mood shifts and emotional outbursts, but that's obviously from a demand coming at you and you're not expecting it. High anxiety. The root cause of PDA is often anxiety, which is what someone else said on the Reddit just then. It is. It's the anxiety around that demand too. It's not just the demand itself, it's the anxiety around it and what you're going to have to be pulled out of a certain state to, again, the inertia thing.
And also, what does this new request entail? I need to know every in and out of what is included, like what it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. PDA is not about saying no because of logical laziness. It's more about a visceral need to resist being controlled, even if the demand is helpful or enjoyable, losing interest in something immediately after someone tells you to do it, or feeling panic, shutdown, or rage when you can't escape an expectation. So I find like I'm trying to think of an example, but if I all of a sudden have this demand on me where someone tells me like, oh, we're going to do this and I have no autonomy, like say it's a social situation. This has not actually happened, but they might say, oh, we're actually going to meet here at 12 now or something. I'll get really wound up about that because it's not what we said. And I don't just want to change my plan based on your plan. And so sometimes you'll avoid things by still doing what you're going to do or
and that's when the whys kick in. Like, wait, so hang on, what is going on? Why has this changed? And what was the reasoning for that?
Yeah, exactly. I need to know all the clear what's happening. I don't understand. Again, remember, autistic people especially need predictability. We need to know what we're getting into,
and we need to know the why. I guess that's what you just said.
Yeah. So let's just take the example of what we've spoken about before. Your mum comes in, you're already about to do the dishwasher, and then she says, "Can you please unload the dishwasher?" And you immediately just visceral, frozen. Nervous system shut down. You can't explain why you're so mad about it. I'm going to kind of go through the ADHD explanation and also the autistic PDA kind of explanation for that. So like we've said, the ADHD motivation is about dopamine. So if the dopamine is taken away, the perceived reward is taken away, then the sense of autonomy is removed and you don't want to do it anymore.
Yeah.
Also, ADHD has experienced something known as a rejection of externally imposed structure. So when someone else introduces rules or expectations, the brain resists. It's not about being defiant. It's about the task losing its shine once it's expected.
Yes.
We just want autonomy. This is literally the kind of the point of it. And then with autism/PDA, it's even ordinary requests can trigger intense anxiety and therefore the need to resist. It's not about not wanting to. It's a neurological threat response to a deep need for autonomy and control. Loss of autonomy equals stress. So it's a stress response pretty much. It's about your nervous system pretty much flipping into fight, flight or freeze or fawn. When you feel like you're losing your autonomy. And the amygdala, which is the one that is responsible for your fight or flight / where your kind of anxiety comes from, it's hyper alert. And so sometimes even, can you feed the dog? Your body actually misreads it as danger. And that's why, again, it's that fight or flight reflex when you actually think you're being chased by a bear, but you're not. It's irrational in theory, but it's not really. It's actually just an unconscious reaction in your brain. And then also that floods your body with adrenaline and cortisol and stress hormones, and then your body's main priority then becomes escape the demand, get out of the demand, get rid of the demand. So you might even do, a lot of people it might not be like a big meltdown you have or a big shutdown. It can actually be, some people might use humor or charm to get themselves out of it. Sometimes you can actually end up being a bit manipulative in a way. So it's not always no, I'm not doing that. It's actually probably less of that. It's more of a clever avoidance of that demand.
Like you did that as a kid, right?
Yeah, I was a bit more.
But I was the one that was like, no, I was going to do it and you asked me, so I'm not going to do it now.
Yeah. Paige and I were classic. Mum and Dad would always say to us, stop stalling. We would be told or asked to do something and I would never do it immediately. No way.
Never.
No, not happening. And then we would start getting distracted with other things, but it was almost like it was conscious. It was like, oh, I need to do that thing though. I'm going to go do that thing. And then it'd be, Ellie, are you stalling? I can just hear their voices saying it. Even going to bed, I hated going to bed because I was told to go to bed.
Same.
I wanted to be like, can I just go to bed when I want to go to bed?
Yeah.
Even though I definitely needed my sleep. But I would often go to bed and then find a reason that I have to get up and talk to mum and dad.
Yeah. So it's sorry, yeah.
You go.
Oh, I was just saying, it must be so tough for a parent because children need their sleep. So they're very much in their right to tell us to go to bed.
Yeah.
And they're how do you navigate that? Because it's really hard to do.
Yeah, exactly.
I guess it could be, maybe a way to do it would be in the way that which you frame the question like what time for you between 9 p.m. and 9:30 would you be happy to go get ready for bed?
Yeah, I genuinely think even changing wording like that can help.
Can maybe help, I don't know.
Because it stops the immediate danger response in your body. It's again, fight or flight, survival. It's a survival thing. And so you can't actually help it. So if it's approached a bit more gently and a bit more inclusive and a bit more autonomous, it's more likely to not set your nervous system off.
Yeah, and I know this seems again, we don't have kids, so it seems sometimes to some people maybe rich to say this, but we have experienced it as the child, and I know it may have helped. Not that mum and dad knew this at the time because of lack of education back then, but if it had been framed hey, Paigey, do you think that you'd be able to do those dishes between this time and you pick a time that best suits you?
Yeah.
I think I would have possibly, I don't know, mum, if she listens to this, she'll probably laugh, but possibly would have
potentially
been a better outcome.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, if you've got kids listening, can you do an experiment with
your
your
kids?
Experiment? Let us know how that goes.
Yeah.
No. The difference between not wanting to and actual PDA is that with not wanting to or having reluctance, you can push through it with willpower. You can. But with PDA, your nervous system actually locks the brakes. You actually just can't. Again, your movement, you can't. You just can't do it. So that's kind of what PDA is. It's actually, a lot of it is rooted in anxiety when it comes to the PDA/autism. With the ADHD, it's more about the dopamine and autonomy being removed from someone else maybe asking you to do it, or even a deadline being there and being I'm not meeting that deadline.
Or mine is if I'm engrossed in a task that I'm enjoying, I need to finish the task I'm doing.
Yeah.
Stopping my inertia is a real issue.
Exactly, which is what we talked about a couple of weeks ago. So with the ADHD and then the PDA/autism, when you combine that with the AuDHD, this is why our profile is even more confusing because honestly, I think it's coming from different things. We've got the lack of dopamine from the ADHD, but then you've got the anxiety and the stress from the autism side and the lack of predictability and wanting to just know what's happening in your environment. Yeah. And it can be self-imposed like that person said on Reddit. You can do questionnaires online. I think there's two common ones you can do. If you just Google it, you can do a questionnaire about PDA and see if you fit the profile. There's the Ehlers and Wood PDA checklist and the PDA Society Being Misunderstood tool, UK based. So see if you can find those if you do want to see if you've actually got this. So I'll do a quick little comparison here with the ADHD/PDA. So with demand avoidance, ADHD is avoid things because they're boring, effort heavy or unrewarding. Whereas PDA is they avoid almost any demand, especially if it feels externally imposed. The root cause for ADHD is the low dopamine and the executive function, and the root cause for PDA is more about anxiety, need for autonomy, fear of control. The response to being asked, ADHDers might be annoyed or they just forget or they won't do it. PDA, you feel panic, rage or shutdown. ADHDers can do a task when interested, especially if it's novel or urgent, but PDA often need to feel like it was their idea or that they have full control.
I think this is maybe why this is not the case for everyone. I know some people haven't found their passion and stuff, but like a lot of entrepreneurs that are successful are actually neurodivergent because like I will say for me, a huge driving factor as to why I wanted to build my own thing was because I didn't want to do what anyone else told me to do.
Yeah.
So like
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that is actually a big driver for you is avoiding the demands of others. You do not want to, you can't. Like it stresses you out too much. Yeah. So it's better that you just create your own business and do it your own way.
Yeah.
Totally. I agree. I think that's why a lot of entrepreneurs are neurodivergent and also because we've got minds that think outside the box and stuff like that. But even when we were younger, we were just talking about this before we started recording. We literally like mum might ask us something like, I don't know, anything. And we now mock this later in life and at the time. But Paige and I would literally like our tone of voice would change.
I could not say, sure, mum. Yes, sure. Yes, mum. Sure thing. Could not.
No, I couldn't either. I could never go, yeah, I can do that. It's like I couldn't.
Oh, my insides crawl.
Yeah, we'd both go. We'd go,
oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then we get sometimes like in trouble for speaking badly because sometimes we did speak quite rudely and badly. But a lot of the time it wasn't because I didn't want to be nice to mum. I actually did want to be nice to mum. And I actually had empathy for mum too. I knew I was being annoying.
Yeah.
I knew I was being painful. But I could not bring myself.
I couldn't do it either.
To go, yeah, we barely even said we loved each other actually growing up.
No, we never.
And I don't know if that's a demand avoidance thing, but it's not because we didn't love each other. But it was sort of like if I would say I love you to you, you would never say it back. And I actually think it might be a demand thing where you're going, well, I'm not telling you that because you told me. Like you always wanted autonomy and everything.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
Maybe not. That's just me brainstorming live on the podcast. But yeah, Paige and I would go, yes.
Yes, sir.
Are you doing that thing where,
yes, I am. I will. I am. And now it's like a fucking joke in our family. Like,
yeah,
like I am.
Yeah. I couldn't even often speak, it would be a grunt because again, I think now I learn more about the nervous system. It was actually my nervous system freezing and going,
yeah, but you know that you need to acknowledge them. So you're like, no, not even that. That to me was too much. Like,
yeah. Like I couldn't even give it to mum.
No,
weirdly.
neither.
It was weird, and I've always wondered what that was. And I don't think a lot of our like maybe other people growing up did that. Like I always felt really, I don't know. I felt different because I never saw my friends talk to their parents like that. But to be fair, we probably didn't do it in front of our friends. Maybe not.
No, I think I probably did.
Potentially.
Wait, I had friends? No, just saying.
One. No, no, I'm just kidding. You didn't. You had two. No, I
had like one good friend at one time and I'd like.
It's like a sushi train. Next.
Yeah, no, it was like I'm also like when I found someone I really got along with, I would be like real intense and then maybe we'd not fall out, but it would just maybe like fizzle out and then I'd find another victim to be my friend.
Oh my God. In terms of, I don't know if does anyone else actually, going back to that, does anyone else relate to like the not being able to talk thing? Like not being able to respond because even responding is a demand. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like responding and saying, yes, mum, is a demand. That was one that really got us.
Yeah,
badly.
no, and then I would either like I'd be a grunt or if she'd asked me a second time or a third time, I'd probably scream. Or just be like, I am.
Yeah, poor mum and dad. Oh, we will get them on the podcast soon, and they can share all of the
old
fun that they had bringing us up. So managing PDA as an adult, for example, would be like reducing low demand environments. So recently I had to leave my workplace again. I had to come back here. And it was for lots of different reasons, sensory issues, burnout, blah, 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 blah. But it was also very demanding there. And being told like, oh man, like I'd get emails from people. This is not against anyone. But even like someone would email me and ask me for something. And it was just like, oh, you really think, oh God, I can't do it. Like I'd always reply to them in the end, but like I would never really reply immediately unless there was dopamine involved.
I do that too.
Yeah, unless there was like dopamine involved for me, then it's quite bad, eh?
Yeah, I do that.
Oopsies.
I feel, yeah.
Yeah. Language, which is what we talked about, reframing language. So shift from should/must to could/might.
Even though that's what,
I might do that today. Or might you have time at some point today? Like, again, it's kind of like approaching it, not on eggshells, but it's sort of giving some choice back to the individual so that they don't have their nervous system fly off the handle and feel anxious.
Hey, darling, if you could help me today, Mummy needs your help. No,
that's made me cringe even more.
That's a bit manipulating. But then, at some point today, what time do you think you'd be able to help me with that? Yeah. Just look at your busy schedule there. Got Barbies in the morning and, and I don't know what else kids do these days.
Yeah. Anyway. Another thing is just stop the shame on yourself, because this is the big issue. Like we get made to feel like we're difficult and we're naughty, and it's just stop the shame. It's a nervous system reaction. It's all good. It's all good. You'll do it. Maybe you tell people that, like, and even like hanging out with friends. I think it can flow into friendships too, which I think is why other like neurodivergent people, struggle with friendships for a number of reasons. But I think even that, it's the demands of the friendship.
I fall off the face of the earth for about 6 months, every 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I come back and I'm like, oh my God, guys, hi, remember me? You want to hang out?
We're still friends.
When I'm like feeling really good, and then I'll just disappear again.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the real ones that get it. They're around to this day, and I love them.
Yeah. Yeah. With children, adjusting expectations and using curiosity rather than control. So like potentially reframing something like if you need them to do something. I don't have an example in my head, but like, do you want to check out the cupboard today and see what we've got for lunch? Maybe? Like,
for what?
Instead of like telling them to pack their lunchbox, welcome them to the pantry to sort of have a look. Yeah. And then they may naturally go, oh, yum, I want these or something. I don't know. Again, I think it's all very language based.
But then if it was me, if in that specific example, I'll just grab the Dunkaroos. I'll just grab 5 packets of those. Bad example maybe, but yes, I get what you're saying. It's
that was just an on the fly. But
again, it's like just trying to half kind of give them back the choice a little bit. I know you can't fully as a parent. You still have the say at the end of the day, but yeah, exactly. Focus on connection over compliance. So like you're on the same team, kind of what we've said again, like you're connected as a team, you're doing things together, and avoid the power struggle of saying things like, don't do that. Because so many neurodivergent kids, when they get told not to do something, like don't do that, it makes them want to do it more. It makes them want to do it way more. I see it in some kids I know, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, that's definitely going to make that kid do that more. And it seems like it's almost like you need to use reverse psychology, like kind of not be bothered if they do that again, because they probably won't do it again. Because then again, if they've got ADHD, the dopamine goes. So if they're doing it to annoy you, lack your interest, because it's probably going to help. Yeah. Again, ADHD and PDA, different but similar. And again, really hard trying to give advice on this when we don't know exactly what it's like to have kids. So
exactly,
you guys, you parents out there, at the end of the day, but maybe hopefully this might help. These little tips, maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
you might have already tried it and it doesn't work. So
maybe I'd love to hear feedback from people if they've got kids or even themselves that have PDA, and whether you've got strategies that help. But I also want you to know as a parent, it's not a moral failure of you either.
Yes.
Like your kid is not a naughty kid because you're a bad parent. A lot of the time, the kid's nervous system is just unregulated or easily stressed.
Dysregulated? Anyway, don't worry. Yeah, stressed.
Stressed. And it's all about approaching those tasks with a bit more freedom and like giving them autonomy. And you may find you get a better result out of it.
Yes. Just going back to that, like parents feeling like they're not good parents because of that, say, and like getting really hard on themselves. I saw a video that went viral of this lovely lady talking about this, and she was reframing it going, your kids scream at you because you've made an environment that they're comfortable enough to do so.
So true. So true.
Whereas if you've got I feel like say kids who end up being in really terrible homes, they're probably more timid and quiet maybe and
they conform.
And it's like,
that's not good either.
That's not good. So if your child is like, loud and this and that, I mean, that must be stressful like I was. But I think don't be hard on yourself because you've made this environment where they feel comfortable.
Amen. Exactly right.
Look at it in that way.
Yeah. And yeah, it's not a moral failure. It's not a parenting failure. It's actually just a nervous system thing. And you just need to try and learn about it. So again, this has probably been very surface level what we've talked about today about PDA. But I want you to know if you have PDA, you're not a failure. If you're parenting children that have PDA, you're also not a failure. It's just our nervous system and we just want autonomy. That's all. I really do just want autonomy. And I think that's why I also struggle in work environments sometimes. Sometimes I love it because of the structure and it keeps my ADHD under control. And then in other ways, I get really irked if I get asked to do things, and not because I don't want to do it. It's a nervous system issue. So in conclusion, it's not about being defined. It's about needing safety, autonomy, and respect. Like you said at the start, it's about respecting people and children
and their boundaries.
As if they're adults. And and actually, speaking of boundaries, don't make a kid hug someone if they don't want to hug them.
That is my biggest, I hate that.
Yeah,
I've seen it a lot. I've seen it a lot. It's like, give me a hug. And they say no. And they're like, come on, give them a hug. It's like, no, they've just told you no, especially when it is a hug or something like that.
Very intimate.
Even if it is an uncle or like a cousin that is like your family, I personally really dislike that.
Me too.
Like you're taking away the boundaries of that child and making them do something that's actually quite intimate to some.
It is.
Just a hug,
Yeah.
That really pisses me off, that one.
Me too. And so if this is the other thing, your kid might be saying no to a hug due to PDA. Like they've been told to do a hug. They don't want to do a hug. Let them do the hug if they want to.
If they want to, yeah.
I hated being told as a kid to hug everyone. I hated it.
I hated
it. Freeze. And now I actually honestly wonder if I've got like touch issues and like personal space issues. And I think that is just to do with like sensory stuff. But I actually also think it's partly trauma from like being forced to hug people and it being uncomfortable. So now hugs are uncomfortable for me.
I hate it.
Yeah. So I don't know how we got into that tangent, but
just giving them the respect and like
boundaries.
Respecting their boundaries, especially when it comes to that stuff. I just feel like
totally.
Anyway, I just got a lot to say, really, don't I, for someone that doesn't have kids? But I think like I think like seeing other people's kids and then people going, go on, give them a hug. Like, no. And it's like, why are you forcing that on them? They don't want to.
I never expect a hug. As soon as a kid says no, I'm like, it's all good.
Yeah, I'm like, it's okay, no worries.
Yeah. All good. Why am I offended?
Yeah. Why are you offended by a 5-year-old?
If anything, get away from me, you little snot bag. No.
Anyway, tangent, yes.
Yeah, all right. Well, hey, thanks for listening again. And we hope that you got something out of that. It was a bit surface level vague, so please do your own research.
We're not medical professionals as per our usual message.
No, exactly. But thanks for listening as per. Join our Reddit community if you want to come hang. Give us some feedback on this app. Share your own experiences if you feel comfortable to.
And if you do join our Reddit community, it's a bit of a two-pronged
approach there, Paige.
Yes. So please explain, Ellie.
Yes, so there's a double-pronged approach here. You've got to request to join, and then once you get accepted, you've got to click that join button again.
Yes.
Bit of a double-prong.
Double-pronger there.
Yeah, but hey, thanks for listening. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate you and all your messages and comments and everything. So
thank you very much.
We'll see you next week.
Bye.